Okay, so the American Conference Championship was a genuine mess. But I mean that in the most high-stakes, historically significant way you can imagine.
It really was.
We're talking about this massive collision of factors, right? You've got a championship trophy on the line, a historic first-ever CFP bid hanging in the balance, and this is the crazy part-confirmed coaching turnover on both sidelines before the kickoff even happened.
It's a completely unprecedented set of circumstances for a game this big. So our job today is to take this huge stack of articles and notes and really distill what mattered from Tulane's 34-21 victory over North Texas.
Yeah.
Because this wasn't just a win, it was a disciplined, gritty performance that secured the likely CFP bid for the 11-2 Green Wave, all while their head coach basically had one foot out the door.
Exactly. The narrative here is just explosive. Tulane secures a win that puts them in line for what we all expect will be their very first CFP appearance, but the backdrop is the real story, you know. This was an absolute grinder of a game, played in a cold New Orleans rain, and both sidelines knew that no matter what happened, they were saying goodbye to the coach who got them there.
And what's fascinating here is how the two coaches handled this unique lame duck status. John Sumrall, Tulane's coach, had already accepted the Florida job last Sunday.
Oh, last Sunday. That's just wild.
Right. And yet, the sources confirm he made a serious commitment. He said he would see the Green Wave through the championship and coach them in the CFP if they qualified. That's a powerful statement to his players.
But wait, how did the locker room even process that? He accepts the Florida job, 4 days before the biggest game in program history, then just shows up to coach. Doesn't that risk him getting distracted or, risking an injury that might affect his new contract?
You'd think so, but the prevailing sentiment was just clarity and total dedication. One source noted that Sumrall made it explicitly about the players. It wasn't his career move. It was about finishing the job for them. And on the North Texas side, their coach, Eric Morris, he's moving on to Oklahoma State. Reports suggest he hasn't ruled out coaching their bowl game, but for all intents and purposes, this championship was the finale of that era.
That dynamic, two teams playing for everything while their leaders are planning their moving routes, it set the stage for an incredible matchup. If you just look at the stats coming in, North Texas looked like they were going to dominate.
Oh, absolutely. Strategically, this was a classic immovable object versus an unstoppable force. North Texas had built an offensive machine. They were first in the nation in scoring, putting up 46.8 points a game.
Wow.
And first in total offense, churning out over 511 yards every single time they stepped on the field. They were also second in passing yards.
And their quarterback, Drew Mestemaker, was an absolute phenomenon, right? Leading the country with over 3,800 passing yards and 29 touchdowns. You'd think that kind of aerial attack would be unstoppable.
That's the logical conclusion, yeah. But they ran head-on into a defense that was just built for bad weather and a physical fight, Tulane's Green Wave unit. While North Texas was leading the nation in points, Tulane's defense was giving up an average of just 15 points per game at home.
And it was raining.
Exactly. Add the cold, driving rain, and suddenly that high-flying offense had a massive challenge. The conditions just instantly leveled the playing field and tilted it toward the team that could run the ball and stop the run.
Okay, let's get into the battle itself then. Even with the slick conditions, North Texas came out showing that offensive efficiency. They took an early 7-0 lead on this meticulous 15-play opening drive.
Yeah, that was a statement.
Messmaker finishes it with a 10-yard scoring pass to tight end Trey Williams. That's them saying, we can still move the ball, rain or not.
It was. But what really defined Tulane's performance was their total lack of panic. It speaks volumes about the culture Sumrall built, even though he's leaving. Tulane's response was just as impressive, a methodical 16-play drive that was pure determination.
And they didn't rely on a big play.
Not at all. They converted 2 separate fourth-down attempts on that drive, ending with their quarterback, Jake Retzlaff, running it in for a 2-yard touchdown around the right end.
Converting on fourth down that early, that tells you they're playing with just supreme confidence,
Yeah.
Not just throwing caution to the wind because the coach is leaving.
Right.
But the real moment the game flipped wasn't even a score. It was a devastating hit.
That's when the turnover tide truly turned in Tulane's favor. On North Texas's next possession, their star running back, Caleb Hawkins, took this massive hit from Tulane's safety, Jack Chiancho.
Oof.
Yeah, the sheer force of it caused Hawkins to fumble. He even looked like he injured his shoulder on the play, and L.J. Green recovered it. That one sequence was a perfect symbol of the physicality they needed in those conditions.
And Tulane immediately twisted the knife. They weren't interested in slow drives anymore. The very next snap, their running back, Jamauri McClure, just explodes for 30 yards.
A powerful run.
The sources all emphasized that McClure literally moved the pile for the final 10 yards, just dragging defenders with him. He punched it in for the score one play later, giving Tulane the lead 14-7. McClure finished with 121 crucial yards.
And what's essential to understand here is that the impact of that one player, Jack Chincho, setting up that turnover wasn't just a fluke. He became the central force for that entire Green Wave defense.
It sounds like he was almost single-handedly weaponizing the weather for Tulane. What was his next big play?
His next one came late in the second quarter and was, well, it was arguably even more demoralizing for North Texas. He recovered a muffed punt deep in their territory after the ball just glanced off their returner.
Oh, that's a killer.
At their own 11-yard line. When you're fighting an uphill battle against a good defense in the rain, those kinds of catastrophic special teams mistakes just feel like the end of the world.
And that short field was a gift. It led directly to Retzlaff's second fourth-down scoring run, a simple one-yard quarterback sneak. But this wasn't just him. His tight end, Justin Reed, gave him this huge push right through the pile. That made it 24-7 at halftime.
And that consistency near the goal line is so key. That one-yard sneak, it actually increased Retzlaff's Tulane record for rushing TDs in a season to 16. It proves that no matter who's in the coaching box, the fundamentals of this team were rock solid.
When they came back out for the second half, Tulane didn't settle. They wanted to deliver a knockout blow, and they did, pushing the lead to 31-7 with a pick six.
Yep, Chris Rogers with the 35-yard score.
And that play had a layer of controversy, right? It had everyone in the replay booth holding their breath.
Oh, for sure. So while the touchdown call was upheld, Rogers actually lost the ball right as he crossed the goal line. We're talking inches away from it being a touchback.
Wow, that would have completely changed things.
A razor-thin margin. It just shows you how critical those little breaks are in a championship game.
And even after that, North Texas's offense managed to mount a threat, getting first and goal at the 2-yard line. But we have to talk about Jack Chincho one more time.
Chincho really cemented himself as the defensive MVP of this game. Right when North Texas was about to score, he shows up again, intercepting a tipped pass right in the end zone.
So that's his third major play.
A forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and now an end zone interception. That stop just completely deflated the Mean Green.
That defense really deserves all the credit then. They held that explosive North Texas offense to just one touchdown through most of the first 3 quarters and generated 4 total turnovers. They were the difference maker.
Absolutely. But despite the 31-7 deficit, North Texas refused to quit, which is a real testament to the character Eric Morris instilled. In the fourth quarter, they mounted this furious rally.
They were so fast.
They scored on consecutive drives that took barely any time off the clock, just 3 minutes and 57 seconds combined.
That's blinding speed. The first one was Mesta Maker finding his rhythm again, launching a massive 59-yard touchdown pass to Miles Coleman.
And then the second score was Ashton Gray's 9-yard touchdown run, followed by a successful 2-point conversion. That quick sequence pulled them to within 10 points, 31-21, with just over 9 minutes left.
And 9.26 is an eternity for an offense like that. But Tulane responded not with a flash, but with just brutal discipline. They played keep away. They executed this crucial, time-consuming 13-play drive. They burned 6 minutes and 29 seconds off the clock.
That drive was the ultimate sign of a championship team. It didn't even end in a touchdown, but Patrick Durkin's 30-yard field goal made it 34-21. That drive did everything they needed, ran the clock, got points, and just extinguished any realistic hope for North Texas.
So wrapping this all up, Tulane finishes 11-2. They secure the conference championship, and they get what we all expect to be their first ever appearance in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
A truly historic feat.
And on the flip side, North Texas finishes 11-2 and will get a very attractive bowl bid. They moved fast on their coaching transition, hiring Texas assistant Neil Brown just 2 days before the game.
And while Tulane looks for Sumrall's successor, we have to appreciate Jake Retzlaff's legacy. I mean, he's now led 2 different schools, BYU and Tulane, to 11-win seasons. That kind of consistency is just so rare.
Indeed. But let's bring this back to where we started, the coaching chaos. We saw both Sumrall and Morris managing their commitment to their current team while also taking these huge new jobs elsewhere.
Yeah, and this sets a huge precedent. In this new era of college athletics, especially with the expanded playoff, How is this constant coaching turnover going to affect player continuity?
It raises a profound question about stability. We're going to see more coaches leave for bigger jobs right before or even during a playoff run. Can a team stay focused when the guy leading them is already packing his bags?
And this game is our first big test case.
Exactly. This championship game, won by a team whose coach was a dedicated lame duck, is the first major example of how that new reality might play out in the high-stakes world of the CFP.
That unprecedented dynamic, the loyalty and the chaos, is the perfect thought to leave you with as this whole playoff structure continues to evolve. That's been our deep dive into the American Conference Championship aftermath.